We begin this evening remembering Midland County Sheriff Gary Painter. Good evening, I'm Eddie Flores. A devastating loss for Midland County and the entire Permian Basin today. Sheriff Gary Painter has died after almost 50 years of service in law enforcement. Big 2's Gian Kim had a chance to sit down with those who knew him best. And she joins us now with how the community will remember him. Gian?
A truly solemn day for not just Midlanders, but for Texans and for all Americans. Most recently, Painter has served as Midland County Sheriff for over 33 years. Many say while he may no longer be here with us, he has left behind an unforgettable legacy.
He didn't hide behind his badge. He wore his badge as a humble servant.
A true patriot, an avid Christian, and a loving family man. Gary Wayne Painter has gone home, having touched many lives.
He was not afraid to show his heart.
For Lori and her son Wilson Clark, Painter was a beacon of light in their efforts to establish Toys for Cops, a nonprofit organization dedicated to serving children in crisis situations.
He encouraged and supported Wilson. He was just a tall man with a huge heart for law enforcement and a huge heart for his community, and even a bigger heart for hurting children.
A selfless leader and a man of integrity. Chief Deputy Rory McKinney says Painter was more a father than his boss.
We're all just one big family, and that's the way he treated everybody.
McKinney says Painter knew no enemies and was a friend to all.
I think he meant the world. He thought the world of the citizens of not just Midland County, but of the whole Permian Basin and the whole state. We'd go out of state to like 2 different places, and we'd be walking down the sidewalk, and somebody would pass by in a car and say, "Hello, Sheriff Painter," you know, and we'd be like in Utah.
Painter was born in rural Amherst, Texas. He later went on to enlist in the U.S. Marine Corps, where he served 2 tours of duty in Vietnam.
He served his country his entire life.
He had said he was going to run again, and you know, he's just a shot. He's absolutely made his mark in Texas, in the country, in his community. I don't know, he's left quite a legacy.
His love for law enforcement began early on, something Benny Matlock says bonded his family to Painter's.
Painter family and my family go all the way back to the Sheriff Gary working at Midland PD with my dad, and then years later my dad ended up working for Sheriff Painter. My dad worked at the sheriff's office. I worked at the sheriff's office. My wife worked at the sheriff's office. One of my adopted kids worked at the sheriff's office.
A relationship extending close to 40 years. He recalls going to church with the Painters on Sunday mornings.
The sheriff was not only the sheriff, but he was Gary, and we truly feel like it was a loss of our own family.
Matlock says Painter loved his family more than anything. Painter was married to his wife Patsy and had 5 children of his own.
But like most peace officers, I would say, any that are worth their salt, the families are always the one kind of in the background supporting a great man, just like they did Gary. They were an incredible family and still are.
And for Midland County Judge Terry Johnson, he can never thank Painter enough for the support and guidance he gave during his campaign.
As a matter of fact, the man stood right here when I was sworn in for county judge. He was there when I announced. He was here when I was sworn in. I believe his support and encouragement was a whole lot of the reason I am fortunate enough to occupy the position that I occupy right now. So.
He recalls the plane crash back in 2012, a moment in history he'll never forget.
Never forget seeing him run to the fire and seeing him standing there, larger than life that he is, take control and deal with the situation. Very special man.
And while Gary Wayne Painter no longer stands by those he loves, the legacy of his life well lived will continue forevermore.
You don't just lose a man like that and just forget about him overnight.
Now there will be a viewing for Sheriff Painter on Wednesday, May 29th. It will take place from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Nellie Pickle and Welch Funeral Home. The funeral service is scheduled for Thursday, May 30th at 2 p.m. in the Horseshoe Arena. Live in studio, Jian Kim, Big 2 News.
Such a big loss for the entire Permian Basin. Gian, thank you.